You can refresh. Okay.
All right. I think we're set up.
We're in here.
You can introducing McCafe.
We're listening to our own stream, so we're gonna have to fix that.
Pastries baked fresh daily in
Bear
our
with us
ovens.
for a few minutes.
Rise today and pair a delectable mini chocolatine and small premium roast coffee for $1.99. Only at McDonald's.
Just mute it.
It's crowded. That's right. Give us 1 second as we just get this going. Okay. I think that we're on the screen on our screen now. We're all learning how to do this over here. Adrian, why don't you introduce this whole thing?
All right, so we've got no sound.
We've got no sound.
You've got no sound. Okay. I don't know. 1 second.
All right, well, I'll give a brief introduction while Adrian fixes that so that our audience in the other room can watch it. So, yeah, what we're going to do today is we have the Washington Breeze footage from where we played against Washington on Saturday. We're going to go over the video. We're going to kind of talk about it. We're going to kind of break it down a little bit, and we're going to try different things. We're going to try to talk about the plays we were kind of running, the sets we were kind of running, and kind of give it from the perspective of us. So we think that might be something. We're trying out this Twitch streaming. I think it's kind of a unique way that people can watch online. In this case, we didn't advertise a ton because we're doing it the first time. We'll see what the result is and improve from there. But we've got this recorded, so it's going to be up right after we'll upload it as well. So yeah, that's sort of what's going on.
Have you talked about the chat?
Nope.
No. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up the chat here for a second. So if you speak louder. So perfect. So we can see this chat. Feel free to ask us questions. Know that there is about a 20-second delay from when you will hear us. So we can see your questions immediately, but you won't be able to hear our answers for about 15 or 20 seconds. So just bear with us. Definitely ask us any questions that you want, and we will get to them, whether they're relevant or completely irrelevant. We'll probably answer any of them. We're not taking ourselves too seriously, but we just want to make it a great show for everybody to enjoy. So without much... Oh, thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Hooey. That's really nice. Okay, so let's jump right in.
That's how that would be said, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. What is the status of Lloyd's injury? It is non-existent. So
Lloyd actually played the whole game on Sunday against Ottawa.
So that's pretty exciting. We're all pretty happy about that. So let me just check something here. We're still looking good. Excellent. All right, let's jump right into this game. So I believe this is the first point of the game here. And obviously we start on D. One of the things that we always like to do is start on defense. Just because we find, generally speaking, it's a good way for us to get our legs moving. And nothing really gets the game going like getting a break right off the bat. Now, this is the first time we've actually watched this game, so you guys are watching this game at the same time that we're watching for the first time. Obviously, we played in the game, but it's a lot different watching the game than playing it. Obviously, our get a break right off the bat strategy didn't really work there, but had we gotten a break there, imagine how sweet that would have been. I'm just going to go ahead and pause that and just rewind a little bit, just so we can look a little bit at the defense that we were trying to do there.
I'm just going to set the scene for this. So we played Washington last week in Washington in a game where we were up the entire game, and then they made a massive comeback in the end where they actually were pulled to in overtime to take a bit of a lead, and we were able to just squeak out a 1-point game. This was 1 week before this game, and so now they're on our home playing in front of our crowd, and they have a strong team, a lot of players on Team USA, coach of Team USA. So that's the scene for the start of this game.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that we knew going into this game. Pretty much whoever can take this game, and because we only played the DC Breeze 3 times this season, so if we were able to win this game and go up 2-0 in the series, that gives us a huge advantage in the event that we end up tied at the end of the season, with the head-to-head advantage. But yeah, here, just pause this for a second. So as you can see for the last couple of passes, pretty much what we try and do is no secret. I think everybody knows it. Toronto Ultimate is all about man defense. Mostly because we aren't very good at zone, but secondly because I think it's just the best way to get energy going, especially right after the game. As I was kind of saying earlier, we like to start on D to get our legs pumping, to set a tone, set a pace, and you're not going to set a pace playing zone defense. You set the pace with man defense. You set the pace grinding, making guys work for it, making guys run past you, and try and score on you with their legs and with their athleticism. And so that's why we always go man right to start the game. I don't think you will ever see us start a game in a zone, ever. I don't think we've ever done it. I don't think we will ever do it. It's dumb. Well, I don't know. It's dumb for us. We don't do that. So, yeah.
I got a couple questions here.
Oh, a couple questions. Okay.
So we got the Lloyd injury. So the plan to contain Kolek. I mean, what did he say last week? He said that when he goes to the gym, that's not really his thing. So I guess for what our plan is we try to put on a lot of people who that is their thing, and try to make him work in a way that he, is uncomfortable for him. So I'm not sure who we have on him at this point.
I think it's Gord. So maybe not a guy who's beefy. But generally speaking,
fire was fire there.
Yeah, exactly. I would say our plan to contain Kolek generally, which is kind of what Link was saying, was you got a guy whose strength is his length and his wiliness, and the way to combat that is to get a body on him. And as somebody is, if you get a body on somebody like that and fluster them and get in their head and not allow, I'm not saying purposely foul them, but just let him know you're there. As soon as he tries to run, you're there in his way every time. So he doesn't get to build up that speed. He doesn't get to get around you so easily and use his length to hurt you like that. Is when you can stop a guy in the first 2 steps that he's taking, you can really take him out of the game. And I'm not going to say we neutralized him this game. Obviously, he's still a great player and he's going to have a great game regardless. But I think that was our game plan going in.
So I'm going to resume it here.
Yeah, so, maybe a little pick there, but didn't really affect the play too much. But, I find that a lot of the time, and this is just going to happen every time when you're playing man defense, you get into a mode where you're chasing. And it's hard to stop that, especially in a longer point. Not that was that long, only 45 seconds. But the more you let them go side to side, the more you're going to have to end up chasing them. The way to stop that is to really dial in on the marks and dial in on the unders. Because once you can get them to hold the disc in one spot for, 5 seconds, 7 seconds each pass, and if they're getting the little dumps, and you can contain it in pretty much the same part of the field, that's when, as a defense, you can really dial in, and you don't need to worry about where it's coming from. But let's go on over here.
All right, I think we'll have to speed up a little bit. Let's okay. So here we go in an offense. Here we got a 4-person horizontal stack, and we got our 5th person. So if you see up at the top, we actually have 3 handlers, and you see that we bring this 3rd handler really aggressive upfield, and that lets us have a lot of room on that side of the field without them poaching a handler into the lane. So let's look at what we run here. Center it up to Thompson. And yeah, you can see here that we have a lot of people in motion right away. We've got Isaiah at the back of the screen. I wish I could figure out how to get the mouse to be something you could see. I realize I'm trying to use it, but that's not going to work.
I think you might be able to see the cursor. I'm not sure. Maybe not.
If you can see the cursor, that let me know. But it looks like Isaiah is slashing across. We got Cam striking deep, and
okay, I'm just gonna pause right there. So, one thing to note in a split stack. Okay,
Thank you.
You don't see the mouse. That's okay. So one thing to note in a split stack is where the offside handler is positioned. Whenever we're having guys on one side of the field and the other side of the field, when we're doing plays to the outsides of the field, it's really important where your offside handler is. So you can't see the cursor, but you can see Nathan Hurst up at the top left of your screen on the other side of the play. That is extremely important. If Nathan Hurst is on the bottom side of the screen near that 40-yard line, our entire play, which as you can see ran to the right side, is doomed because his defender is in the lane there. So really what we always try and do, no matter what, when we're running a play to the side of the field, we have the dump on the other side of the handler so that we can get that guy out of there and make sure that the play can be run properly.
And so it looks like Cam did a really good button hook here. You see, he actually got tons of yards. And what we saw actually when we played Washington last week was that when we had a guy strike, they would be very careful. Like, they didn't want that to happen. They knew that we could strike. And so when we had someone strike deep here, you can see that Cam's guy wanted to help on that, which let Cam get a very big under. So just keep going. He got that disc. Cam has just an incredible flick, and he put it out. And I didn't have much separation, to be honest, but he just got it out in front. So that's a good throw there.
Cam is pretty sick. If you haven't noticed, if you haven't been watching for the past couple of years, Cam is one of the better throwers in Canada, possibly in North America. He is amazing. Got a question here. What is the proportion of set plays versus pure inspiration by the handler depending on the situation? So I will tell you that we never, ever start an offensive possession where we don't have a play called. Whether or not that play actually ends up getting run because of what the defense is doing, we have a play, we have a plan every single offensive possession. And you can tell, people know that about us. So a lot of teams will come down in a junkie zone to try and take us out of that set play. And then you kind of get into that kind of handler inspiration and intuition and waiting to see what's given. But generally speaking, no matter what, we always have a play called. If we don't have a play, we run into problems historically. We always have a plan.
Sorry, just John Doc. Unfortunately, I have no idea how you would be able to watch that game last week. As far as this game, I think this is going to be the only way to watch this game. I think there'll be highlights up. So
no, the game in DC.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Is
now.
on YouTube.
It's on
so
YouTube.
If you
right
go to
now.
the AUDL channel, you'll be able to watch that game on YouTube. It's the week 4 game of the week. But so you can watch it there. Unfortunately, you probably won't be able to watch it live unless you have some sort of IP majigger that's going to let you pretend like you're in Canada or the US.
But don't watch it now because we got this this stream going on.
Wait an hour or so.
So here we go. Now we got DC's on offense. So if you see what they do, what they're known for actually, and you can see this cut coming. It's called we call it a chevron cut. It's kind of like a small little arrow. So the person who just left the screen went out diagonally deep a little bit, and what he's going to do is he's going to cut diagonally back into that area. So what they do is now they have the next guy. He's doing the same. So it looked like that was shut down in the lane, but it's actually something that you'll see a seam of, that they'll run that chevron cut over and over. The next time I see a really good angle of it, I'll pause it to mention how to go. That was a little bit of it.
Yeah, so you can see here. So we had a question earlier. How are we dealing with Kolek? Kolek, obviously he's an amazing player. He's going to get open. He's right here by the 40-yard line at the bottom.
Whoa. Oh no, sorry guys.
Whoa.
Keep talking and I'll.
What's going on? What are you doing?
I wanted to go back to the one thing here. Actually, I wanted to point out here something that Simmons did that was really, really, really good. That it doesn't happen enough. I think it's right here. So you see here, Bob Lou's about to get the disc, and look at what Simmons does. Simmons is running away. He realizes he can't stop Bob from getting the disc, and so what he does is he's looking at the other side of the field to look, where is Bob going to throw the disc, and how do I stop that? If he ran and put a mark onto Bob, Bob would throw something around and be able to get to him. So let's watch here what he does here. See, he goes and he corrals that whole mark. He looked and saw it. He corrals that mark. Then he slowly puts the mark on. And that, he's able to put that throw around. But that's what he was trying to contest.
And generally, he has to put that throw out at a much worse angle than he would have had he been able to just catch it and throw it right away. And then because he had to throw it at such a poor angle, we get that mark on. And then the next dump has to go 15 yards backfield, and they're back where they started. So really good play there by Simmons, who is an awesome player. We're super happy to have him on the team this year. And then that's just a great throw. Really weird little roll there to catch it, but I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of Jeff Wodach this game.
But oh yes, there was I remember this. This is unfortunate. See, I think this should have just been a goal. It was a foul before the throw, a contact on the mark, and then because of that it doesn't count, which doesn't make much sense to me. I'm not sure if we could have integrity that. The referees were being pretty adamant that that had to come back.
And then they just put it up.
And I think it all worked out for them.
Carroll actually almost got that one, but Goose
he's pretty good. He's pretty good. Were Liu and Matsuka tough to handle when both were playing on the same line? Obviously, they're both really squirrely with a lot of different release points. They're really tough to deal with. And the most we can do is kind of exactly what Jeff was just talking about, where Alex Simmons is not trying to put a huge mark on them right away. They're not coming right on, as the disc is being swung. He's not sprinting to the guy and trying to put a body on him, get that mark on. He's corralling. He's coming around wide and really trying to cut off that angle before he comes in. And that's what you have to do against guys like Bob Liu and Matsuka, who are going to kill you with little kind of squeaky throws through the marks. That's the only way you're gonna get that done.
So actually, let's just show what we were doing here. Actually, I'll just let it go a little bit more. So here's an offense that we're kind of known for a little bit. It's called a split stack offense. So what you see here is we have our handler with the disc, our dump reset a little bit behind the play, giving room upfield. You can see on the top part of the screen we have 3 cutters in a vertical stack, and then at the bottom side of the field, it's sort of the same. It's not at this exact instance, but it's 2 cutters in a vertical stack, and it's something that we do a lot. Not that many teams do this as well, although some college teams have done this as well. But so a common play that what this lets you do is it really lets you isolate your players. So in this instance, you can see our 2 Cam and Isaiah on the bottom in motion, and you can see how tough it is for their defenders to block it. Even as soon as we set up this way, they're behind us because they realize that they have that isolation, and they have to protect it. So they actually let us go and get a very easy under to Cam. And you can see that I actually really like this formation. It really lets you put 2 strong cutters next to each other, and the defense often has to just give up a gainer.
The other thing about this formation is you can look at the top side of the screen. So we have 3 cutters on the other side, and their job, as Jeff was saying, so much of the play is dependent on these 2 big cutters on the bottom side of the screen at both 50-yard lines. Classic Canadian football there. Getting open and isolated there. But the other 3 guys are just as important because they really have to occupy those 3 guys who are bracketing them. As you can see on the top side of the screen, there's 3 defenders kind of in a little triangle around these 3 cutters. But they really need to be dialed into them because when these guys get shut down, those guys are now active. So it's their job to occupy these defenders so that this back guy over here at the 45-yard line at the top right of the screen there can't come off and help deep against Isaiah, who is now about to cut deep.
Actually, we just got a question on how different are our strategies. They're actually we have some same plays, but it's quite different. But I actually just wanted to comment on the other one, sharing your playbook with your team. The funny thing about that is that when we play with the Boston guys, we sort of sometimes realize that they know us better than we know us.
Yeah, I mean, they know most of our plays already. We play them so much, and we think we're smart, and we're calling plays that they don't know, but they know them all. So.
And it'll sometimes the conversation will be like, oh, like you do that throw, and then we'll be like, oh yeah, I guess I do that throw, and they actually, they know that they have that in their mind, and it's not even as intuitive to us. So I don't know.
Yeah, and specifically, towards Neff, I was explaining a play to him the other day, and he definitely knew exactly what it was already, and I was like trying to explain, okay, so this guy's going to cut out this way, and you're going to fill, and he was like, yeah, no, I got it.
The play you guys run all the time.
Definitely never heard this play, but I mean, obviously they have. So,
but let's keep anyway, so back to the play here. We got Cam. We just ran a split stack. Cam and Isaiah both isolated. Cam got the under. You see what's really good about the split stack as well is you see that we got a flood on the one side of the field. They're not in a very good position to help, and Isaiah is just able to have his man one-on-one. I don't know what's going to happen because we haven't watched this game. I don't fully remember, but it looks to me like Isaiah is going to have the ability to get a big under because his guy is going to have to follow. I mean, he was open. Yeah. I think Cam should have hit him.
Cam sucks.
So, yeah, I'm pretty pissed.
Oh, Thompson just aired it out.
And then... So because Cam didn't throw that one easy to Isaiah, it went over him. Army could have gotten it, but he was mad that Cam didn't throw that easy one.
I think he was specifically punishing Thompson for his poor decision there. Okay, yep, appreciate it.
Yeah, I think we'll try to. We got a comment to try to play a bit more of the game and pause less, and I think that's a
fair point. Okay, what was I gonna say? Okay, so yeah, we see Link there with a nice throw.
Adrian, classic inside out.
Perfect.
Or high release flick.
Just working it up the break side there. So that's one thing, as probably most people, if you've watched any of Goat or Rush's games and anybody who's played against us, that's one thing that some teams specifically try to stop, or is that we love using the break side. And sometimes it's almost to our detriment where we're only looking on the break side and people look off open side throws. As you can see in that last point, Cam kind of looked off Isaiah when he was pretty open there, and we ended up turning the disc over. But that was a nice little just open side.
That was just sequence. 3 chevrons in a row, I think, to Jeff for another goal. I think he's got maybe all 3, but at least 2 of them.
Yeah. Another thing about this game that it's tough to you can't really tell on the stream here, but the wind was very swirly during this game. It actually, no matter which direction you were facing, it really felt like you were throwing up wind, and it was really strange. It was really difficult to get used to towards the end of the game, but we figured it out. And so this is one thing that we're kind of seeing here is that that east-west movement that we always kind of harp on with our teams. And there's one thing that DC specifically is so good at, as Jeff was talking about, is those chevron cuts, where they're kind of pounding it up the open side. They go out and in and out and in. It's way more north-south than us, whereas kind of our strategy is always to try and move it side to side across the field and try and get guys moving that way. And it's, I don't know, I find that it's a lot tougher. Oh, yeah, there's sweet grab by Cam there. Let's see what he's,
Yeah, I mean, I went off my hand and I could probably caught
hit him in a bad spot.
I was actually pretty pissed at him for that play like a minute ago. And that was really hard on my mind right there.
It sucks. So, it sucks when it hits you right in the fingers, and I definitely feel for you on that one.
And this is something. Well, we got quite lucky there, but this is something we saw that we didn't adjust to well enough. When our offense turned it, they hucked it. They wanted to get that up. They wanted to get the disc upfield in the wind, and on turns they were not afraid to huck it, and we did not adjust as well as we should have been.
Yeah, towards the end of the game, I kind of every time we turned it, I tried to put on a straight up mark, but the same time, we never really talked about it or communicated that might have been a strategy. So I might have been screwing people over by doing that because they weren't expecting me to.
We got lucky
But
again
I think
there.
we should have kind of talked about that a little bit more.
So we're gonna let the game roll. If there's ever a time you want to stop and ask about something, let us know. But otherwise, I think we'll try to keep the game rolling.
See, there's that east-west movement I was talking about. Especially off the sideline. We want to get it to the other side of the field as quickly as possible.
I'll just skip this little bit right here. We'll just maybe go ahead.
That was a really great throw. Just right on the money. Classic length there. It's okay. I've got a couple of duds coming up. So.
Oh, yeah. Adrian didn't.
Yeah. No worries. But, this is not ideal for us. But
and then there we go, a huck.
Generally speaking, there's kind of the strategy where, as I said, we always try to have a play called. And generally, most of our plays involve scoring quite quickly. Is involving opening up a deep strike, if possible, and being able to score right away.
Oh, man.
Now, thankfully, these guys just keep giving the disc right back to him.
Nate there?
Yeah, that was Nate. That was a dud. But this is exactly what we don't want on our offense, is to stay on the field for, I don't know how long this point has been, 3 minutes almost at least.
I think at this point we're all surprised we're still on the field without a timeout.
Yeah.
I think we're all
trying to saying, shooter, get us off of here.
But you know what? One other way to end a point is just to let it go to Isaiah.
Say, Cam, do your thing. Isaiah, you do you. Bail us out, boys. And they did. So
that, I didn't realize at the time, but that was a pretty crucial point. That was 3 or 4 back and forths, and us being able to get that, I think was very big at that early stage of the game to keep us in it.
Had they scored at that point, I think that would have been pretty devastating. 81. Why do I use a single glove?
Yeah, you only wear one glove.
I actually wear 2 gloves. I don't know what that question is. Cam 91 only uses 1 glove. But I always use 2 gloves, so I don't know. Anyways, yeah, see here.
So I'm gonna try to look at these chevrons again, see if they're doing it.
Yeah, see that one. What's his name there? Chuck Cantone. He had a good chevron there. He didn't end up getting the disc, but it at least opened up some space for somebody else to get it under there. Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah, Goose actually had a couple of drops this game that were pretty uncharacteristic as far as I know. I mean, from watching any of their games. I haven't seen him drop all that much. But
there's Greg with the disc. Great throw by Greg into it. It's as blurry on ours as yours, so I don't know who that. Oh, it looks like it's Carroll.
No,
to Simmons.
Unfortunately,
I mean, this is one where
I don't think that we end up converting.
I mean, who knows, right? Maybe we did.
Maybe we did, but I'm pretty sure we didn't. We had a lot of trouble scoring on defense this game in general.
So I think part of it is what we're seeing is the clearing on the break side of our handlers was Trevor.
Yeah, no, that was Greg. Greg,
Greg, if you're watching, I wish you caught that one.
Yeah, you looked like you could have left your feet, but it had been a decently long point, I guess. Been 2 minutes 10 seconds here, so
But so each one of these,
fatigue,
they feel so important to get these early upwind breaks. And so we haven't talked about Justin here. So Justin here is playing with us from Clapham. So that's actually a good time to talk about him because that was his first time ever touching the disc in the AUDL.
Yeah.
And as much as you tell people that, the stall count is much shorter in the AUDL, you really have to experience for himself. And so even though he had, I won't go back. Even though he had a number of open looks, it's really quite short in the AUDL, the stall count. It even though they're supposed to, they said it was timed to about a normal 10 count, it really is shorter. So
yeah, you really don't. And the other thing, it would be there's no kind of auditory indication that the stall count is about to be over. Obviously when somebody's counting stalls on you, you hear them get to 7, you hear them get to 8, and you have that kind of feedback, and you know that you're about to get stalled down. But in the ADL, you don't really have that. You're just pivoting around, and all of a sudden,
so
it's a turnover.
Despite just how rubbish of a play that was for him, I think we'll forgive him.
Yeah, we'll give him.
Maybe he'll get a big play later, and we'll all be happy again. I don't know. Let's find out. And that's such a great throw by Simmons.
That was sweet.
What's so good about that is we're in a bit of a bind, and there you go. That's not even the play I was talking about, but
made up for it a little bit. Oh yes. Oh, not in.
Not in. Maybe.
So on that throw that Jeff was just talking about, that Simmons threw to Mike Jones in the middle of the field, on that backhand force, kind of up the field and through the mark. That's actually something that I see a lot.
Looked like a bit of an accident there, but
yeah, that was kind of funny. But I find that Japan does this very well.
Yeah.
If you force backhand against Japan, they will absolutely murder you with little throws just past the mark, little IO backhand throws that will just eat you alive. And Alex Simmons had a sweet one there that was right on the money. Unfortunately, we turned it, but let's see what's...
I was not listening, so I can't add anything to that. Another one to Wodak. So that's
abusing us.
Do you guys know? Did he get all 4 of those, or did he just have 3? It did seem like he was really bailing them out, and that's the role. That's the role that he plays really well for them. Is that when it gets late into the count, he always seems to be open, and he always seems to prevent a turnover from happening. And we'll see a lot of that, I think, this game. So it looks like here we have, it looks like a split stack. Adrian went up high for that. We get nice center. And a great throw out to Isaiah to gain tons of yard. There must be no time in the clock. That's what's going on here. And
as you could see, you might have noticed there, Armitage and I were, on the bottom side of the field here, wide open, which, hindsight is 20/20. When you're watching this game like this, it's easy to look at that and say, oh, you should have thrown it there. But, Isaiah catches the disc looking backwards, looks up the field. He has 2 seconds to look at the clock and then get rid of it. So, we'll give him a pass on that. Not a big deal. End of quarter situations are always tough. We practice them, but there's only so much you can do.
Although we did make an adjustment off that. We had both Cam and Isaiah, our 2 biggest guys, in the middle of the field for that throw, with you and I in the end zone. And we talked about how that is not something we want.
See, and there was another weird drop by Goose, but Jackie picks up the disc and promptly gives it right back.
And another...
I think he felt bad. Goose's second drop of the game. Usually doesn't happen to him, so just wanted to give it right back.
Simster, is that you Simmons,
yeah,
Alex?
I think
it's got to be, right?
I think it is. That was a
nice
pretty
toe
sweet
there.
slide there. That was a pretty good catch.
Good D by Jackie, but really good catch by Goose there. What we got here? 6-5.
Got ourselves a game here. Okay. So from what I remember, we ran split stack most of the first half. I don't know how much we kind of deviated from that, just because it was working so well. So last week we ran split stack against Washington 100% of the game, which was so. And you can see here. Okay, so let me just pause that right there. You can see what Washington just did there is they've now adjusted to our split stack on the bottom side. So you can see. How do you just rewind a little bit?
It's impossible.
Okay, it's impossible. But you can see what's happening here at the 50-yard line. While this happens. Okay. So watch these guys. Isaiah starts his cut pause. So you can see now they're not covering these guys anymore. They've adjusted to this, and they're now bracketing Isaiah and Cam. So this is an inevitability of split stack where we run these plays over and over again. They work a whole bunch of times. teams have to adjust, and this is the natural adjustment. So,
and you can see the third adjustment they made. The second adjustment, I guess, is that their handler. So you see Nate is because Nate's not in a good strong spot. His cover is actually able to really get in the way. So if Nate is in more of aggressive position, his mark can't be that far off him like that.
But thankfully, he doesn't have to be in an aggressive position because, look who's
they
up
can't
there.
see your cursor.
Look who's up there by the 50-yard line.
So what he was doing there was he was circling over himself just a few times so that everyone could be aware that he was wide open.
Yeah.
Now, we learned earlier that you cannot see the cursor. But
yeah. I forgot that you couldn't see the cursor, but know that I was. Yeah.
So how do you mentally overcome a mistake like a critical drop in the game? So the way I do that, so let's say Adrian dropped a disc in a crucial point. Normally what I would do is I would go over to Adrian and I would say, and this is actually not a joke at all, I would go over and I would say, Adrian, I think you just blew the game for us, and I think we're going to lose because you just dropped that disc.
Totally. I mean, this is a hypothetical situation. While these words would be exactly what he would say, I've never dropped a disc in a big game like that. Thankfully, nor has Link, but if I was to, I would expect him to come out and tell me that I've lost the game because, I mean, I'm thinking it. Everybody's thinking it. Why beat around the bush? And it's time to wallow, you know?
No, but the answer to that is that I think it helps a lot to know that your teammates aren't down and they have your back on that sort of thing. And that's sort of what I'm getting across to Adrian when I tell him that we're all really upset at him and that he's lost the game. Because, even though I'm very serious, there's some sarcasm in that. But, yeah. So this is awful here. We got a travel call on a thing.
That was really weird.
And it was probably a good call, but it was against us, and so I hated it. Also,
at the end of the day, I mean, unless that drop is the only drop in the entire game and the only turnover in the entire game, it's not the one drop that lost the game. There was 5 drops throughout the game, 5 throwaways throughout the game that lost the game.
Yeah.
It just sucks that one of them happened on the very last point.
But but if we went on to lose this, it probably would have been pretty easy to say that right there was why.
Yeah, everybody would have been pissed. Everybody would have been thinking about it. Looks like a timeout call, and we're all upset because
we're off the field now.
We're off
because we're on D. So I mean, if everyone's not familiar, in the ADL on a timeout, you can switch everything up. You can switch all your players up, and that. So it actually changes the way timeouts are used. In club, timeouts are used often to rest a line, whereas in ADL, timeouts are usually used to make the defense into an offense. If that makes sense. When you get the D, you normally use them to get your offense on the line. And I would say if you don't do that, you're actually really wasted a timeout, which is an interesting. Or I guess the second thing is if you're able to, as a coach, and this is probably the best feeling you can have as a coach, if you can call a timeout when you know the stall count's at 6, or your player is about to turn the disc. I think there's no greater feeling as an AUDL coach than to call that timeout, then watch your player turn it, and to know that you just saved a turnover.
Yeah, I think we were talking about this the other day. Actually, I think it would be cool if there was a stat on the AUDL stat counter for coaches of turnovers saved through clutch timeout calls. I think it would be interesting because it actually is a pretty sweet thing when somebody makes a big throwaway or everybody thinks they got stalled down and the other team's celebrating and they're so pumped. And then the referee's like, no, guys, timeout was called.
Although, what an interesting thing is that I've recognized players almost don't even call timeouts at all ever anymore. When they get to 6, they're even though the person with the disc can easily grade hammer. So this is their upwind score. That really, obviously was because of the call by the ref, and so we played this a perfect point, and this is really big to give them this lead. But yeah, a player, even though you can call your own timeout at stall 6, it never happens anymore. No. It's only ever the coach that calls it, and it's
that's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah, you should fix it.
The other thing is that. Calling a timeout. So as we were kind of saying about, it's great being able to save a turnover from timeout. The stall count also drops down to 0. So when you not only do you save yourself a turnover, but you get a fresh stall count.
Sorry, guys. I'm not good at this.
What's going on? What's going on?
They're pulling it. Let's watch the whole pull. We haven't watched the pull. Look at that.
This was a sweet...
He does have a lot of wind, and it actually didn't hit the end zone, so...
And so you'll notice...
But you know what? They got right down on the pole, and that's something that is massive. Being able to get down on the pole and affect that first throw is a lot bigger than it might seem.
And that's why, there's some guys on our team who are really good. Being able to field a pull is actually a very underrated skill. And there's some guys on our team who are much better than others at it. And when you can get that disc off really quickly, and I might have had a little travel there that they let me go on. Receiver travel probably, but that's okay. All's well that ends well.
So these are big points now because it's the offense going into the upwind, and it just puts an extra bit of pressure on because sometimes in the upwind games, one break turns into 2 breaks, a fairly easy second break, and we're really trying to prevent that.
Are most rush players two-way? Do you really need O and D specialists? That's a good question. I don't think I would say that people are O and D specialists. And I would say that almost all of the rush players are two-way. There's very few two-way players who can make it in kind of high-level ultimate. Very, very few one-way players who can really hack it in high-level ultimate anymore. But obviously some people have strengths and weaknesses, and obviously it's great to be able to focus on those things. So while somebody might be a two-way player, if all you ever play is offense, you're going to get a lot better at offense. And if all you ever play is defense, you're going to be a lot more comfortable playing defense. So
Simmons, your guy was wide open there.
Oh, Jesus. As good as Carroll is, I hate him.
At this
sometimes. Right now, I hate him. And, that happens to Carroll more than anybody. More than anybody I've ever seen, does Carroll get a D, and then the guy just catches it anyways. And I don't know what it is.
I think he likes, I do think he really likes playing defense.
Yeah,
and so
it drives me crazy. And this is something, what I was thinking about the other day, is that sometimes, just a beauty throw right to the dirt. But what I was thinking about the other day is that a lot of guys, they'll go up for a D, and they'll actually swipe for it as hard as they can. And
I don't remember if we convert here. We need to convert here.
I was pumped because I just turfed it, so.
And it's pretty nice when a dump gains you 20 yards.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Another team's dump.
Link. Just making a really weird cut there. But as I was saying, when you're trying to go up for a D, when you take a wicked swipe at the disc, you're kind of, depending on where you hit it, you can potentially increase the spin on the disc, or at least keep it rotating. But when you just stick your hand out and hit the disc as it goes by you, the spin stops almost immediately. So I would say that if you're going up for a D and you're running and it's kind of trailing over your head, put your hand out and just try and touch it. Don't whack at the disc as hard as you can, because that's what happens when people whack the disc and it flutters up and it gets going again, and then the guy can run on and catch it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to see what happened there. Was it a pick, I guess?
Yeah, I think that was a pick.
Looks like a pick.
Yeah. And then here's Link.
Oh,
just with a really weird throw.
And I remember, people were like, "Hey, why did you just throw?" We can look at it as much as I don't really want to.
No, we're done with it. That was just dumb.
And people were like, "Hey, why did you just throw?"
Are you throwing to this DC player with the yellow shoes? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, so I got the disc.
It really looks like that's who you're throwing to.
And I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to break the mark for sure. So look at all our guys on the one side and them on the other side.
And as you can see, let's just pause it again real quick. As you can see, where in the middle of the stack here, you can see this perfect pick formation set up. So all of us are trying to navigate this and saying, okay, you know what? We're all set up to a pick here.
Oh, so I accept your apology for setting up into a pick.
I'm sure Jeff
Adrian,
will just.
We don't have to go on.
I'm sure Jeff will just dump and swing this around so we can get ourselves settled, and then we can score afterwards. But Jeff's like, no, guys.
So put it out to the break side. Let our team go get it.
Needs this frisbee.
And I mean, I think what I said when someone asked what I was doing, I was like, well, everyone on the Washington team knew I was throwing that, so why didn't we know?
Yeah, no,
Anyway, let's just maybe move on.
That's a fair point.
Are you guys going to be scouting for players from other countries?
Justin lives in GB and plays with us this season, so do we think his situation could become a trend in the AUDL to get the best players from around the world to the league? I wouldn't say that we are actively scouting at Worlds. You know, Justin has become a friend of some of the players on the team through various tournaments that people have gone to, and he was able to connect with us that way. Sorry, not a friend, a mate, of course. And generally speaking, all of our kind of foreign pickups that we've had over the years have been that kind of setting. I wouldn't say that we go and scout guys and ask them to play GOAT.
Because mate's like how like the British people would say it.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't clear on that.
So we just got another that was like a 40-yard dump.
Got us some good yards there.
Surely we put this one in.
Yes. Well, yeah, I think we do. Because I believe that do you guys know that in the AUDL, it is not a pick if the defender is standing still and can see the picking player? Do you set up end zone plays to take advantage of that?
I can say I don't think that's... Is that true?
If that's true, I certainly did not.
We certainly don't take advantage of that.
We don't take advantage of that.
And second, I did not even know that the pick rule was different, to be honest.
Yeah, that's weird. So who brought Neff and Boston guys in? So Neff and the Boston guys, that's very different. GOAT is very, very differently run than the Rush. And specifically this year, the Rush was in need of players because there's going to be a couple of games where we are going to be incredibly short-staffed.
Is that Carol there?
That's Carol getting a nice D there on Mr. Curly. But as I was saying, the ADL, the Rush specifically, we are going to be down quite a lot of players this weekend.
Oh, the stall. Anyways,
this weekend we are going to be in Colombia. About 15 of us, I think exactly 15 of us are going to be in Colombia, 15 Rush players. So we're going to be down a huge number of guys. So we picked up these Boston guys in order to help with that. They're huge ballers in the league, and we played against them. We've had a great relationship with Boston over the years, mostly them beating up on us, but a couple of times we beat them too. And it's a real awesome thing to be able to play with them possibly. And there is no ABL team in Boston, obviously, so they were pretty pumped for the opportunity to come up and play with us. And
that time it was actually Jeff Lindquist throwing the assist. So, and probably our adjustment there was letting him, go under so he doesn't go deep on us. Not so good.
Really, that didn't work either. So.
What are y'all's credentials? I don't really know what you're asking.
You mean in life? Yeah.
Yeah. So here you can see Adrian and I both trying to get one.
See Thompson. Just. Oh no, this is Nate here from the field.
So actually, I want to look at this. Okay, how can I trust you? Are you asking about I'm number 20 on the team you're watching here, Jeff Lindquist. This is Adrian Yearwood, number 81. So I guess we play on the team. So actually, I wanted to talk about Nate right here on his release. So this is a very heavy downwind, and if you look at the way his body is right now when he releases, you can see why the disc went straight up. So when you're playing with a wind, when you're throwing downwind, what you need to do is you want to get your body and weight over the disc, so your release point has your weight into it. So what he should be doing here, his shoulders should be actually ahead of his knees, and he should be in that sort of a stance, and he's going to be able to really have a lot of control. Usually when you lean back, you're trying to do a touch throw, and if you're going to do a touch throw like downwind like that, or in that sort of wind, it's good chance it's going to come up. And you can see that's exactly what happens. It flows way higher.
See, this is where maybe Jeff and I would disagree a little bit. I would say that that was kind of a product of, as I was saying earlier, the wind was a little bit swirly, and it wasn't quite a straight upwind, downwind. It was more of a crossfield wind, and it was a little bit difficult to tell. So sometimes you would think, oh, I'm just going to throw a sweet downwind throw, and it's just going to float right to exactly where I want to go. And sometimes you would realize that, a downwind throw is actually an upwind throw.
Oh, yeah, it seems like you know a lot about what you're talking about.
So there's another example right there.
He's literally telling you how to throw downwind as he throws one over everyone.
No. This is exactly what I'm saying. Sometimes you think you're about to throw downwind, and then as soon as you release it, you realize, oh, geez, it's actually sort of a downwind, mostly a crosswind, and I'm actually throwing kind of upwind in this kind of high release pop pass that I'm trying to throw here. And it just floats up in the air. I'm pretty pissed at myself at this point.
So hold on, though. Are you saying you shouldn't have your weight over it when you're throwing into the wind?
When I'm throwing downwind, I think there's nothing wrong with lofting it up because the wind is going to push it back down.
I'll give you that. Yeah, it wasn't a typical upwind, downwind. It was more upwind is the point. And there we go. Wodach, it's another. In retrospect, we should have been stopping him more.
Yeah. We should have watched this game before we played this game.
Yeah, we would have made some decent adjustments.
Figured that out. So now we're down 8-10. And, one thing we would really want to do at this point is trade into the end of the quarter because, we started on D. It sucks to... I guess we'll get the disc back at the beginning of the half, the beginning of the next quarter. But, sweet catch there by Nate. It's really shitty to be down by 1 going into the next quarter.
So you can see because it was such a high upwind, they were actually really letting us have this dump. We wanted to keep the field, on the bottom of the screen. We wanted to keep the disc on the bottom of the screen, and they were really letting us go up there.
You guys need to go to WUFF camp. Mike Garrett could teach us a thing or two. Yeah, maybe. Who's the dark horse player for the Rush this year? That is a good question.
I would have said maybe Breton.
Yeah,
but after Breton's one of our rookies, and in overtime last week he got a D and a score. So that might have taken him out of dark horse.
Yeah,
I would have said he was dark horse, and
now people are gonna know.
Now he's an up and coming player.
Yeah, so dark horse. I don't know. That's a good question. I'll put a pin in that one. Oh, sweet Steve by Izzy.
Maybe Mark Lloyd.
Yeah.
Coming off the ACL.
That's a good one, actually. When the team really needs to score, do you double shift your best players? Well, as you can see by who just got that last D there, Isaiah, clearly the answer to that is a hard yes. Not always. We'll usually add 1 or 2 pieces just in case, you get to that situation. It does come to a long point. Somebody calls a timeout. You can get other guys in the field. So that's sort of what happened here. So we can have some guys who are fresh. And, if Isaiah has been running really hard for that point to get that D, which he clearly was, he doesn't have to work so hard after he's been running like crazy.
I had another comment. So we only had 3 seconds left in the half there, and we're able to just put that out for a goal.
Pretty ridiculous catch by Cam there.
For the double shifting, we actually... So I'm going to go to the second half here. We actually double shift less in the ADL than we do with GOAT, I'd say.
Yeah.
In GOAT, it's actually really common that we'll double shift going. And I think that's just to do with the bigger field and the less time between points that you actually get very, very tired after a point.
Yeah.
I feel like last week Washington double shifted a lot.
Yeah.
And
I think a big one to think about there.
Great D by Justin. Just came from far away.
I think a big one to think about there is the time between points. It's really crazy. In the ADL, you don't really have much time at all between points. Honestly, the point is scored, and you're going out on the line, especially on offense, and it seems like 2 seconds later, the ref is saying you got 10 seconds. And obviously it is 30 seconds between points, and so Jackie got clobbered on that one. And to be honest, we didn't really think about it at the time, but I think he may have been mildly concussed because, he just got that sweet new hairdo. He didn't have much cushioning on his head. But does elect to stay in the game, and there's no real concussion protocol in the ADL, so I guess we'll never know, but maybe that's something to think about in the future.
Alex to Rusty
to
Will Neff, and then to Jackie.
Concussion and all.
So that's some GMing right there, right? That was the point of GMing. We got Justin, I think, made the D on the other end.
Huge point.
And then we got Alex to Rusty to Will.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Hold on, we had a question there.
Oh, no. We switched to the
You
video.
You did that.
No, it switched to the second video.
How do you approach a game like the next one in Montreal where you're expected to annihilate the Royal, even though they did upset you in the past? Well, let me tell you something. As I was talking about before, one of the big reasons why we got these big pickups from Boston is that our next game against the Royal, we're going to have a pretty skeleton crew going down there. 15 of us are going to be in Colombia this upcoming weekend, playing in a tournament, kind of tuning up for Worlds. So we're not going to have a lot of our guys, so I don't know if we're, at this point, really expecting to annihilate them. And that is actually going to be a pretty sweet game. I'm pretty excited to see how the boys do. I obviously I think we still should and can win. But I don't know if annihilation is really what people are expecting out of that.
Who's your favorite Boston pickup?
Favorite Boston pickup?
You know what? I think Simmons is leading our team in turns.
Yeah.
Which actually I kind of like.
That's pretty good.
I kind of like that.
Because other than that, I would be leading in turns.
Yeah.
I'm a close second, so thank you, Simmons. You're really helping me out there. Rusty and I used to battle a lot when he, playing against each other on Boston and Goat. We would always cover each other, and so we've had some great battles in the past, and it's cool to play. The first time we were practicing, and before the game, and we were covering each other, and I remember he looked at me and he was like, "It's just like old times, buddy," and it was a pretty funny moment. So I love the fact that I get to play with Rusty.
How big of an emphasis? Fitness is big. I'll say beep scores. I'm sorry, I'm going to read the whole thing first. Or do you have? Yeah. So okay, you know what? We can talk about this. Since this became, professional or semi-pro or whatever you want to call it, we've actually been very fortunate to be able to have some professionals, actual professionals, join our team. And what I mean by that is we have a fitness coach. That's a big spike for maybe being out. You know what? Yeah. Let's just get this thing to see Izzy in here.
Yeah, I want everybody. Okay, so
this is as good a frame as you're going to get.
Wow.
If his hand is down before that line, he's in. But if that's still off the ground, which I don't know, I can't tell from here, then he would not be in. But given all that, what a spike for a very controversial play. But you know what? That was a great catch, and I think he actually might have got his hand right in before. To be honest, I think the refs might have called him in for his body, but so that would have been wrong. But maybe they didn't. Maybe they called him in for his hand, and maybe they made the right one.
Yeah.
But sorry, so just back to what I was saying before, that we needed that one. That was a big one, an upwind there. We were able to get two professionals to join our team. And the two people I mean are Mike Haddock and Kevin Dianarin, who so Mike is a trainer. He works at a downtown club, the Adelaide Club in Toronto. And so he actually works with us all throughout the off season. He puts together our training program. He has us in. He shows us all the exercises. He's actually got a bunch of them on YouTube, which I've actually been trying to talk to him, or not on YouTube, but he uploads them on Facebook on a Google Drive for us, so that we can all access them. And I've been trying to get him to figure out a way to monetize that, maybe get that public. And then the other guy is Kevin, who is our chiropractor who he works with the NHL as well, and both of them actually just love Ultimate, and they came to us and said they wanted to be involved because they love Ultimate and they wanted to help it grow. So, anyways, a bit of a tangent there, but
yeah. So just about that, Huck, it really looked like that guy could have maybe went horizontal and got a hand to that, but obviously he didn't, and we're not going to complain about that. Another question here. Would you guys like to play crossover games against other divisions during the regular season? Absolutely. I would love to do that. Obviously, logistically speaking and financially speaking, it's pretty difficult at this point in the league's kind of status. But I would love to do that. I love hearing about the games that are going on, but it's hard to get super pumped about them because I'm just so removed from it. So it would be awesome to even just to have kind of a mid-season tournament or something like that with the top 3 teams from each division get to go and play a 12-person tournament. 12-team tournament for one weekend. I think that would be awesome. Maybe even do it down in Sarasota or something for old time's sake. I think everybody could get down with that.
No one would watch that if we're in Sarasota. That was a slight shot. What's going on here? So they really want this upwind here. This is big. And they actually, so something they did really well, and we didn't adjust well. And you see here, again, I think he's going to throw another backhander around here. No, just a little around there. They used the wind because the wind was holding up the disc on that side of the field, and what that means is when you kind of let it out, it'll just float up. They were able to put a lot of really small backhands around our mark. Once I started talking about it, it was all on the other side of the field, so we didn't see it. But I guess you can rewatch this and look at that.
How do you deal with your various commitments, international, AUDL club, etc.? How much did the Rush organization ask about before you signed?
I would
say one of the good things about the Rush organization is that our ADL, international, and club teams are all very interconnected, and everybody knows the deal. It's not like anybody is being caught off guard by the various commitments. For example, Scott Shooter Hasty, he's the coach of the Canadian team, and he's the coach of the Rush, and he's the coach of GOAT. So, it's not like he's going to be surprised when people are missing due to, all of us being in Colombia or, the team ownership. The president, Phil Watanabe, he's president of the Rush. He was a GOAT player for years and a Rush player for years as well. And so we're all interconnected. I don't think anybody is being caught off guard or has to make any concessions or special letting people know because of things like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's tough.
But it's tough.
It's tough.
It's definitely hard. Especially if you have other things going on in your life. It's a lot of weekends of the summer playing Ultimate, and some guys are able to make it work, and some guys aren't able to make it work nearly as much, and you just gotta kind of work with what you got.
So it looks like here we actually must have been broken a couple times because I believe we got pulled to, and we have a very different.
Totally.
We didn't even watch. We're down 13-12 now.
Yeah. So they got us twice in a row. So one thing that we try and do is to stop, or I think they might have only gotten us once. So one break. So they scored it tied up, then they broke us once.
Sorry, you were looking here?
So no, we can just let it roll. But one thing that we always try and do is not let 3 breaks in a row. And one thing that's tough about that is
we really change it up. Okay. Two is fine. Two
is
is fine.
We'll go at 3, no mas. So the one thing is we always try and change that line. If we get broken once, new line, no matter what. Because the worst thing you can do is have your O-line just getting out there again and again and again and again and again, getting scored on, getting more demoralized, getting more tired, and keep hammering at it. So if we get broken once, boom, get them off the field, get a fresh line out there. Whether they score or they get broken, it doesn't matter because the next line, if they get broken, we can get a fresh O-line back out there who has had that point to rest. And if they score, then perfect. We have a whole bunch of D players and we can get a fresh D line out there too.
And also, when your O's getting broken a lot, the D's obviously sitting there thinking, if I were on the field, I wouldn't get broken.
Exactly.
So what we do is we get them on the field. And it's like, all right, go, don't get broken then. It's not easy out here.
Jerks. So
And
just
there they go, right?
Yeah, classic D-line crap.
No, that looked like Isaiah just slipped. Our home turf is very slippery.
Yeah.
A lot of falls. And that's looks like what just happened there.
Okay, so and as you can see, our kind of standard O-line is back on the field here, having had a point to rest, and so we're not out there dogging it. I'm able to get this.
I looked
this
today,
going up
Adrian.
pretty well.
The most thrown to person from me is to you. So there's another one of those. Why do I say it like that? That's over my words, but
that was weird.
when I throw it to you the most.
That's good.
Thought you should know.
Yeah, no, that's good. And so obviously our no 3 breaks in a row strategy didn't really work that well because got hand blocked. I mean, that's tough. Can't do much about that. It's not really an adjustment you can make. You just got hand blocked.
Well,
right?
so I just sort of think maybe 3 breaks is okay. Like maybe that's our problem, our strategy. Maybe that's okay.
Yeah.
So, what we got going on here? Just so you all know, the footage is what goes on our I guess jumbotron during. So you're seeing all this stuff. We didn't prepare this for anything. This is stuff to get the crowd going. So
nothing gets a crowd going like Ron Bergen.
the other things were just our general logo. But here's some make some noise. So if you're in the crowd, you can just kind of just picture if you want to be there. A lot, like 1,500-1,600 people just cheering. That's where we're at. Well, I'll pause that for a reason. I wanted to see.
I mean, we could talk about it while it's happening.
Uh-oh. All right, here we are.
15-12 here. I think there might have been a timeout. Oh. That was unfortunate.
Get up the line and pick. So maybe that's the rule that we were talking about earlier. I don't know.
No,
Someone said earlier that if someone was stopped, you could pick or something. I'm not fully sure if that's the case, but the refs called a pick there, so. And that's just good timing out of that. And actually, Army had really good timing there.
Yeah.
Steve Armitage at the back, but if he did a chevron, he actually probably would have been able to. But he went deep for it. And that's Cam throwing a high one up to Isaiah, who is a big guy.
Not happy about it either. Gives him a little bit of business, but the DC player, kudos to him. He knew we gave him a good shot, so he doesn't react to the spike. He says, "Yep, I earned that one." Good catch, buddy.
So there we are. That was our strategy. They get 3 breaks, we score, and now we play some D.
There we go.
So now we're kind of in a spot we want to be in. We go plays D. We're down a little bit.
Exactly,
crowd's a bit on edge. Sometimes you got to play those kind of mindsets.
And Bob Lou, man, this guy just is one of those dudes who can just break the mark. So on some level, it's kind of what we were talking about before. Alex Simmons just has to, when he's going up to mark, he just really has to turn around and see who's cutting before he sets that mark. Because, you're going to get broken, probably. So it's probably easier just to look at where the next throw is probably going to come from and try and take that away.
So I'm actually just interested in what sort of formation they have. So they seem to have, we can't see the other guys, but they seem to have 4, and they have 2 handlers actually on the same side of the field on the open side. And I guess that's to really open up the break side. It looks like what's happening now is one of the handlers is going up, and that lets Bob go around for a very easy dump around. But no, so that's what they did. They, you know what? We made a big D, but what they did is they really isolated the break for that throw, and it was just a missed throw, I think. And I like that. A very aggressive resets.
A little bit of Boston going on. Mike Jones here. Oh, I remember this.
Oh, it looked. Oh.
See, now that's one of those ones where.
Like, we wished it didn't turn.
Probably should have just.
For me, I wish it didn't turn.
Thrown a flick there, but, that's life, right?
And you know what? Pretty good throw. I don't know who threw that.
I don't know.
I didn't see
it was either, but
good.
I think. See, you can see kind of how the wind was carrying that one because he really thought he was going to be able to run onto that one pretty easily, and he just barely got a finger to it.
You know what? In interest of time, I think I'm going to jump ahead a bit.
Go for it.
What does everyone think? Should I jump ahead? It's been an hour 10. I'll play it for a few minutes.
Outside of free gear and travel/food at games, are there many other perks to being an AUDL or Rush player? Do you get things like gym memberships, discounts in any sports stores, etc.? Well, obviously every team is going to be different, but we do. So that was one of the things that Jeff was talking about earlier, where we have professionals working with us. We have a chiropractor and a personal trainer who works with our team and creates personalized programs for each one of us. And so that's a big perk about playing on the Rush. So as built into our salary is a membership at the gym where our trainer works. So we can go down there, get one-on-one assessments with him, go there as a team. And it's also one of the best gyms I've ever been to. It's unbelievable. And we also get access to an incredible chiropractor who can fix pretty much any ailments that any of us have ever had. And it's really a blessing.
And I think this year we have with friction gloves, and with Nike, I think we have some as well. I don't know the details, so I can't pass them on. And so I've jumped ahead to 8.5 minutes left in the fourth. We were, we're down. We're down here, and it looks like, maybe since Alex, I think he wanted to jump ahead to get to where we started getting breaks, and I'll start it at their offense to see. So they're going downwind here. And I talked about Breton earlier.
Yeah, the dark horse, except not really, because people are going to start figuring out who he is. The good thing is that, when people figure out who you are on defense, it's all that really does is make them scared of you. When people figure out who you are on offense, it makes them game plan for you. So it's not so bad for Breton. It's not like people are going to be able to neutralize him, because all he does is run really fast and get big Ds for us. So that's good.
And there we go. We got another. Oh, what a catch!
Sweet catch. I think they really thought that one was down, but I don't think it was. 19-20.
Oops.
Which club team would you want to play with other than GOAT?
It's a lot easier to say the ones you don't want to.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. We used to hang out with the guys on Bravo a lot at Nationals. Back when Nationals was in Sarasota. But since then, I don't know, maybe it's just us, but I've kind of find the Nationals is a bit more insular in the sense that, like, the teams don't really hang out with each other all that much. And we kind of just go to these tournaments and hang out with our buddies on the same team as us. So, there's a little bit less interconnectivity between the teams. But, I don't know.
Actually, I don't know. That's actually a really good question. I'm thinking through right now the different teams. And Bravo was one of the first ones out of mind.
That's
I think they have a very similar style. I think we're a very casual / like serious.
Yeah, we take it
team.
seriously, but we like to party. We have fun.
Okay, Alex. Is there a way to ban someone from our stream?
Did you spend a lot? Okay.
You know what? At least he said Sunday, not Saturday.
Yeah, okay. But no, that's barely better.
The joke there is that on Sunday, if you're not in the finals, you don't play. And since I think Ironside's won, how many of the finals did they win?
That's true. These guys have won quite a few championships.
It's actually like, it's crazy how many times they've won.
Yeah.
Considering, how many times.
They've never really been, they haven't been there that many times. So, times they've been, they've won.
So, so, man, good one. You got us.
So, I don't know. what's going on there. That was some good D by Justin, making the guy go up pretty early for that, and then Jackie with the follow. You know, that's actually an underrated D by Jackie there on that follow, because had Jackie not gone for that, it's so easy to watch that throw go up, stand there, and say, oh yeah, Justin's got that D. I'll just see what happens.
Here's a big rip from Martinez, who actually, it's his first game. His first game back from his injury last year. He was out most of the season last year.
That's big. And there we go. Tied it up. A lot of fists in the air. A lot of ones in the air. So I don't know if you guys have noticed. So a lot of times after a point,
we've skipped every after point. There's no one that's noticed.
I mean, if you've ever watched any other Rush games or if you watch them live, a lot of times after a point, people will walk out holding the number 1 up in the air. Now, what that is one of our philosophies is just 1 point at a time. That's all we're taking in. And so whether we got broken or whether we scored a huge point, people will walk out there with a big 1 in the air, just saying, that was just 1 point. Get back in the mindset, because it's time to play another one.
It's interesting that you've always viewed it that was 1 point, when I always thought it was forget everything else. We're now only about this one next point.
Huh. Interesting.
That's how I've always thought it.
Well,
I'm pretty sure the way I thought it is.
I think you're wrong, but I guess as long as we're taking similar things from it. So here we go again. We got another split sack
Looks
play.
like they had a double team off the start.
But you can kind of see here. I'm actually. Let me just rewind a little bit there. Why do I keep going forward? Yeah, you do it. Okay, so you can see here that we've got Isaiah and Cam up on the other side of the field, and we've already identified that earlier on in the game, these guys figured it out. They're going to bracket these guys. They know that we're trying to run to them. So,
but yeah, it's actually a very small adjustment, but it's probably pretty big. We've always played them on the other side of the field, and all we did was switch them to the other. But it really does actually change the angle on the defense, and it's such a small thing. But we put them on the top instead of the bottom, and here we go. Let's see what the play is. Looks like we clear out, and we just get Adrian very easily open under.
And I just get hand blocked.
And so there you go. We shouldn't have switched to what we did because we got the disc to Adrian.
That was bad, guys. I think that's only the second time I've ever been hand blocked.
If you could hear the crowd right now, they are unhappy.
You can't hear the crowd. Nobody is saying a word. Everyone's pissed at us. At me, specifically. Which player do you most want to play with?
Timeout. We'll skip that.
Which player do you most want to play with? I would like to play with...
Let's see what they do here.
I don't know. Let me think on that.
That's just a great throw.
Yeah, what do you do?
It's hard to stop. As much as I actually think timeouts on the end zone line often lead to turns, at the same time, it's hard to stop a set play on the middle of the field. So, I don't know. Nothing means anything.
What player would you most like to play with?
Man, I'm a negative person. I'm immediately like, man, it'd be easy to answer which players I don't want to play with. Yeah.
It's a nice cut there by Link. See, we always do that. We always, get it off the line, next pass. Never just get it off the line with one pass and then look upfield. If you dump it off the line, always look for that next one. Nice little slide by Army there. Oh, see, you didn't see that there, but Spiva really tried to get his body in my way there. And, after the point, he comes up to me and he says, hey, man, I shouldn't have done that, but...
Would you say Spiva is one of the players you most want to play with?
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. We had a good battle this game. I would definitely play with him. Which player would you not want to play with?
I didn't see it, that one. But what's this next question? How much stock do you, as players, put into an opposing team's style? Yeah, it's interesting. I think it is evident, the different styles. I think you do see that different styles, like, so for instance, there's definitely styles where they'll really play us man to man and like I guess a team like Double Wide and Club really plays like a man defense, and we're used to when we go deep that people will help and everything, and they don't do that, and
that's what I think. I think what a good way to answer that is you can definitely tell that some teams, like when people talk about it's all about the matchups. It's all about the matchups. I think that's what kind of you're referring to there is that we'll play against some teams and we'll match up so well against them, and we'll play against other teams and they will match up so poorly. But it's like a triangle. So let's say like us against Boston against Revolver. Like historically, we've played Revolver really close. We've had some great games against Revolver, and it seems like not that we have their number or anything, but we match up really well against them. Yet we don't match up nearly as well against Boston. Yet Boston doesn't match up as well against Revolver, and so we have these things where it's like these different styles, the different personnel kind of interact in these ways that you'll get all kinds of random wins and losses going.
What just happened?
You clicked.
I just clicked something. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Since you lose practice time, so actually the question about practice time on Goat and Rush. Actually, back to the game for one quick second. This is what we're needing right now. This is our D line with only 4 minutes left, getting a turn when they're going up. They're going upwind, which is like crucial. And you actually see a lot of. Right now it is a lot of the new people to our team this year, which is we're excited about. See, that whole stretch it looked like Alex to Justin, now to Will here. Looks like we got a timeout to get. We just should get some offense on the field.
Pretty sure this is our last time out of the game.
So that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes when you just have like a lot of weaker offensive players on the field, you want to call the timeout to get that. So here we got Justin and Alex and Rusty, cutting off. And we got Will down here, and we're like, what? Let's just get some offense on the field here.
Get some real players out. See what happens.
And just settle down.
Okay, since you lose practice time on Goat to the Rush, is there considered an effort to use similar strategies between Rush and Goat? I think naturally, and this kind of goes back to a previous question where you talk about certain team styles. I think that's going to happen no matter what. Toronto has a style, and as I was kind of alluding to earlier, our style is that east-west movement. We try and we get it off the line and see as he gets it in the middle of the field, and his first look is to continue it to the other side of the field. And so a lot of our plays are designed to do that, to go side to side. So the short answer is yes.
I don't even know what you're answering. We got all the same players pretty much. When we play with Rush, we're practicing.
Yeah.
It's just it's every game we play is just a better version of practice. In the way I see it.
Totally.
Will a stream like this be a weekly thing for your home games? I mean, we're gonna That's the goal here, is to do this sort of weekly. We say that knowing that we're both going to Columbia on Wednesday, and we won't be back till next Wednesday. Well, yeah,
that's okay. But yeah, we will try and do this for every single home game. And I don't think you have to worry about us personally doing it. I think we're definitely going to set aside the time. It's something that we're really interested in doing, and bringing it to you guys because I think it's really interesting to get that kind of insider perspective, because as much as the commentators know about the game and they watch a lot of Ultimate, they can never know exactly what's going on, kind of in our team huddles and in the locker room. So yeah, this is a really cool thing for us too.
And also, any feedback or anything like that, we don't know what we're doing. We're talking half the time. We're not paying attention to the game and are answering questions, and some of them are jokes and we're making jokes. Whatever. If you guys have feedback, we probably won't listen to too much of it, but you never know.
I will listen to none of it. So it looks like they got a timeout. So I think this is their last time out of the game. But notice that they're using a timeout on offense here. So they're on offense. They're just using a timeout to get a breather here, which is interesting because generally speaking, as Jeff was saying earlier, a lot of the timeouts in the AUDL are used after getting a D on defense to get your offense on the field. So clearly these guys look like they're a little bit frazzled. They're not sure what they want to do.
I think it'd be easy to say if we do go on to win this game, then that is the reason.
TSM right there. Point of game. Although I'm pretty sure they do score this point.
Yeah, we'll give more notice in the future. We didn't because we had no idea how this would go, and we thought maybe it would just be better if we get it done, put it up, people can watch it, we can get a more refined version going forward.
Yeah, but
so we're cowards. We're cowards. That's what I'm saying.
It's cool that you guys are enjoying it. Oh, Justin, with a huge...
Here we go. So we got a minute 30 left, so we might go a bit slower here to go through. Let's actually look at where they came from here. So they got this is just off their timeout. So
just off their timeout, okay.
So they swing it there, and I mean, good spacing they have. They have the whole upside of the field open.
See, that said, it is good spacing, but Kolek is in a great spot here to cut for that swing. He's in the middle of the field, on the closest hash mark to us. But you got the guy on the other side of the field, the far side, and he is also cutting down. And I think that is a huge mistake on his part because that's what brings Justin in and gives him the opportunity to see what's going on and see this throw coming in. He's trying to stop right now.
You can see him right now. He's realizing it. He's realizing the other has a lane. That's Kolek, I believe. Is that Kolek?
Yeah.
So it's funny. Sorry about that. And he realizes that he's taking Kolek's lane, and Justin just says, "No, you've made a mistake. You went into that lane," and Justin just blows by. I don't mean like there was so much room that I think it was more of a heads-up play by Justin than it was a mistake on their part. But you can see the, what I mean. And here's Isaiah playing on the D-line, so you can see we want that break. Good fake, Alex.
Great fake. Everyone thought that was going to come out.
Yeah.
So we go up 23-22. This is our first lead of the game. Super pumped. Is it our first lead of the game? Actually, no. I think we were up like 11-10 at some point, or maybe 12-11. I don't know. But anyways, we haven't been leading for quite a while.
I've been telling people the last few days we were up for 24 seconds total of the game, but I can see that that's wrong.
That sucks. But I'm not gonna.
Have we missed Will's sky? By the way, do
you skipped a lot of stuff. I had a stick grab at the end of the third quarter that you skipped too, so that's fine. Anyways.
Yeah, I know. I noticed that, Alex. I didn't want to say it then.
So this was just it's
a good huck.
Awesome throw. Now you can see Remy kind of gave up on that one, and it popped up, and he probably could have gotten to it, but I guess he trusts Kolek that he is a pretty sick thrower, and he usually wouldn't pop it up like that. So,
if anyone knows when when Will Neff's sky was, I'll go to it after the game and watch it. But yeah, but I'm gonna we'll get through the game here first. So what do we have here? Looks like a split stack again.
Another split stack. Cam and Izzy.
Army very open.
Armitage.
So they got
Adrian makes a sweet cut. Oh, he is just wide
and
open.
Just sails it. And I don't think anyone thinks he needed to lay out, but he did.
He was pumped enough to do it. So we'll give him that pass.
And so what are we at here? I mean, that's huge. That's an upwind point with 25 seconds to go to give us the lead. I'm actually interested to see what sort of defense we're going to run here because we know that we just need them to not score in 25 seconds.
So see what happened there. The way that Will Neff pulled that rolling pull, if you aren't too familiar with the ADL rules, the reason why he would roll that pull is that as soon as one of the DC players touches the disc, the clock starts. So if he's going to throw a big lofty one and float it up, the time doesn't start until he catches it. But the way that he rolls it, somebody has to touch it as quickly as possible so that it stops it from going out of bounds and they have to take it at the side, or from rolling at the back and they have to take it to the back of the end zone. So we roll it so that somebody has to touch it and the clock starts as soon as possible.
And there, touched it. Perfect. Perfect strategy. So what do they got here? They got a bit of a, I'm not really sure yet. Go out. We're not defending yet either.
Yeah.
So I'll go a little bit more.
That's the D.
So they got a bit of a flood stack and isolation, a Kolek in the middle. And you can see we got a poach in the lane to force that disc over there. And, see, Bob doesn't want to hit that person. So that's actually a great poach up at the top because you can see even with that open person, Bob doesn't want to hit him there. And he's finally forced to. And look at the loss of yards because of how late he looked. And now they're just going back. And remember, they have 25 seconds to score this point. And they spent 15
I'm just going to pause it right here. This is something that the DC crowd did to us at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, at the end of the game at DC, when there was 10 seconds left on the clock, the entire crowd started counting down from 5. So it was 10 seconds left. Everyone starts counting down to 5. They get to 3, 2, 1. Cam is about to throw it, and Thompson screams at him, "Cam, there's 5 seconds left." Cam looks at the clock, sees there's 5 seconds, stops, and catches his bearings, and then throws it right at the end. Obviously, it didn't work out. Our fans kind of got them back a little bit and did something very similar to
Yeah, so it says 8 here, and I think
sure
they're counting about 3 right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So 3,
so, he
2, and then he just jacked it.
But
He could have had another throw off, and that's just an easy one. The crowd's going nuts right now.
Because they feel like they won the
Carroll's
game.
happy. Yeah, they got that
win.
D at
That was
the
a good
end.
D for
Everyone's
them.
happy. Player of the game
Cam.
went to Cam, who had a very big game. And I don't know what any of this footage is.
There was a picture of Dan Danzig there at the end there. No, before this. So this is a picture on the right here. So on the left we got Trevor Henry. Obviously he plays on the Rush currently, and on the right we have Daniel Danzig, who is a former player on the Toronto Rush. Played with us in 2013, and unfortunately last year he passed away from cancer. And so we've instituted this year, we have a Daniel Danzig Award on the Rush, going to somebody who exemplifies inclusivity and sportsmanship and creating a positive environment on the team, because those are some of the things that Dan exemplified on the team. And we're really happy to be able to do that and to be able to kind of continue his legacy on the team, because he was an amazing teammate. I had the pleasure of playing with him in Italy in 2010 on the under-23 team, and that was the first time I kind of got to hang out with him quite a bit. And he played in 2013 on the Rush after surviving his first bout of cancer, and really is an amazing story of kind of perseverance and staying the course and really achieving what he wanted to achieve against some pretty long odds. And he's a guy that will be missed on the team, and he's kind of it's nice to be able to keep him in our thoughts and to be able to remember him at this game. So that was pretty cool that we had something like that up for him.
Yeah, he seemed like one of those people that, if you only had just a small encounter with him, it was always a very positive encounter, and that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much the entire game. I don't know if Jeff wanted to go back.
I just was gonna, if you want to see it, I'm just gonna quickly look for Will's. You know what? I'll look for Will's catch while you just talk about, just for 2 seconds, sum up it and.
Okay, so I'll just talk. So basically, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is a really cool thing. Jeff and I were really excited to be able to do this. As I was saying before, it's not all the time that you get to see this kind of game from the player's perspective, and it's one of those things that is kind of a treat in this way. And so we're happy to be able to have this footage, because for all of our home games, we have all the footage, and we just haven't really been doing much with it. So it's cool for us to be able to go through these games and analyze them, and hopefully it was cool for you guys to watch with us and take apart and ask us some questions and get a little bit of insight into what was going on. As we said earlier, we're going to try and do this with every home game that we have this year. So stay tuned on Twitter and Facebook for details when the next one is going to be up. Obviously next weekend, as I said, a lot of us are going to be in Colombia, so our game against Montreal, we're going to be a little bit short-staffed, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be a competitive game. We've got the Boston boys coming. We've got a great crew of young Rush guys who are really, really stepping up to the plate, and guys like Breton Tan and Alex Flajos and these kind of guys who are going to be able to take the team to the next level in the next couple of years. And so we're really excited for them to have the opportunity to really, take control of the team next week. But our next home game is May 14th. So after that, we'll try and get the next broadcast up. probably on the Monday following that.
Until then, I don't know if you saw, we got the
Raptors, big
We
win.
the North. I think that's probably a good focus for the next 2 weeks.
Big win for the boys
Round 2.
last night.
I couldn't find the catch, but you know what? There's a highlight package. That's going to come out. AUDL is going to have it out. The catch will be on it. No, don't even worry about it. We're not going to show it on the stream. Here it is coming up, but we're not going to show it.
Really
Watch the highlight. Anyways.
There's one really good one coming up here. Okay, so here, wait, hold on a second. Let me just... Okay, so here's this
no
last
one's watching
point.
anymore.
21 seconds left on the clock, right? And we're thinking, okay, end of quarter situation. What are we going to do? And I'm thinking, okay, I'll just jog up here. Nathan's got the disc. Who knows? Okay, now Cam's got it. He's going to just jack it, so I guess I'll just run next to Isaiah. He'll probably catch
he'll give up on it.
Oh no! Looks like a point. Oh, what a grab. That was pretty sick, you know. And then there's me and Izzy. We got this sweet handshake that we do. I was pretty pumped about that.
Catch Will's catch.
We'll put it up. We'll put it up on the highlights.
Anyways, we're just gonna close it.
Yeah, thank you.
Please pass us feedback.
Yeah, thank you. Send us you can get us on Twitter if you got any feedback, and let us know how it was.